Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and Chris Cuomo tries to set a trap for Vivek Ramaswamy. And as usual, it does not go over well.
I said it at the time, I say it today. But that is different than believing that it is a good thing or it is desirable for him to somehow be indicted in 4 different prosecutions in the middle of an election where he's running.
The prosecution as if it was a persecution instead of walking the same line you did in the book.
It is.
Which is, he lost the election.
He wasn't being prosecuted.
We could make the elections better, but it wasn't rigged. He's about grievance that ate up our party and didn't become about anything more that we needed it to. You're not saying those things anymore, Chris, and I know why. But it's not unified.
Unlike many of my other candidates on the Republican debate stage, I don't suffer from a Trump derangement syndrome. The fact of the matter is, what has changed is the man has been prosecuted 4 times. That sets a dangerous precedent in this country on novel legal theories that have never been used in the ways that they're being used here. We are skating on thin ice as the country. And I think once we set this weaponization of the justice system as a precedent in this country, that's not going to be good for Republicans or Democrats. It's not going to be good for the United States of America. And some people, Chris, when they say they want national unity, what they really mean is they just want to unify 50% of the people in this country and leave the other people out of it. I reject that. We have to unify all Americans. That's what the America First agenda stands for. And I know that this is an obsession for the media, but I'm answering the questions as asked. That is why I am standing on the side of principle here.
It's an obsession with the media because you think that there's any definition of doing this job where you would ignore or sublimate the fact that you have 4 different indictments of the person who's leading the nomination of one of the 2 major parties in the country. Give me a break.
Which is dead wrong.
We can't avoid
it. And I've said it countless times. But the question is, how are we going to move forward?
You can't not cover Vivek. Here's what I'm saying. Even that, Mark, you want to move the needle, good. God bless you in the pursuit because America needs it. But if you play these games like, well, the media is obsessed with him being prosecuted, we've never seen anything like it before. Of course, there's going to be attention on it, and you're benefiting from the attention.
With my response to this.
It's not, but that's like saying we're obsessed with covering hurricanes. We're obsessed with covering injustice. We're obsessed with covering our governance. Of course, that's the job.
Let's talk about the substance.
That's the job.
How are we going to fix this problem? And I'm going to say something now that you and I may agree with. I think the problem in this country is that the people who we elect to run the government, they're not even the ones who actually run the government. It is the managerial bureaucracy in a shadow government without any accountability to the people.
He said it. He actually said it. Oh, that's so beautiful. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? There is a basically shadow government going on. That's not exactly what's going on. I'll clarify that in a moment, because if you're new to my channel, I'll explain it again as briefly as I can. There is something called the ruling class, and there's something called the dominant class. Currently, the dominant class are rich white liberals, particularly people who live along the east and left coasts. Yes, I said that on purpose. Don't at me. Then there's the ruling class, the people who actually make everything work. And it's the higher-ups in Silicon Valley. It's the people who run Wall Street, a lot of high-rolling bankers, and just as importantly, a whole lot of government bureaucrats who are up in the system, who do not want to give up any power, and have no real oversight or authority over them. Hey y'all, as we know, you don't put all your eggs into one basket, right? So that's why I'm partnering over with my friends at Colonial Metals Group, who will help diversify your portfolio. And what they'll do is they'll set up for you a self-directed IRA account. You'll have direct access to your assets, you'll be able to see what all's going on, and it doesn't matter what the stock market does, or what often happens, what the government does, your assets will be protected. So let the team of experts over at Colonial Metals Group help secure your account and your family's future today. There's a link in the description below. Oh, and by the way, if you don't like that, there's a 1-800 number you can call. And most importantly though, is the kicker. They'll throw in a safe and possibly up to $10,000 in US silver to help you get things started. Now, back to regularly scheduled programming. This is a problem for a democracy, because it means that we are not ruled by the will of the people, but rather the will of the special interest. Now granted, this would have been a major talking point among left-leaning circles here in the United States about 20 years ago. And ironically enough, they were echoed by some people on the right. I'm young enough to remember people complaining about this, and then even Sean Hannity getting in on the lobbyist and the corporatist side, saying that maybe this isn't a good thing. That was during the George W. Bush years. And so what Vivek is getting at, what Vivek really has to contend with here, is on one hand, he is in enemy territory. All right, he's dealing with Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo is not kind to conservatives. Now, he does try to appear as fair as possible, and he does a good job of that appearance. What he doesn't do is he doesn't throw Vivek off his spot. Why? Vivek has been, throughout his young life, doing his best to appear in front of camera, appear charismatic, and learn how to properly debate on a small screen scale. And what do I mean by the small screen scale? I'm talking about these 5-10-minute videos where he's talking with people, particularly on CNN, and he's getting them to try to throw everything they can at him. They'll try to throw him a curveball. You should criticize Trump on this. Well, he takes the curveball, hits a nice little single into right field with a simple answer, and then he pivots to whatever he wants to say next. Well, okay, so we're back to the original point. Four-seam fastball. They try to get him on another issue. Ball inside. He doesn't even flinch. Try to throw something off speed. He takes it for what he's given, but occasionally he hits a home run. And that's what he did right here at the end. But I've already explained that. So what else is going on here? What else? It's not just the fact that he is in enemy territory. It's not the fact that he's down in the count and they're trying to distance him from Donald Trump. Granted, Cuomo does a good job here because Vivek does bring up something important, that Trump might not have actually won in 2020. Based on the numbers, if you look at the Maricopa County, if you look at the Fulton County, and you look at a whole lot of audits on the ballots, you'll find that there's this average number that keeps on popping up, 6%. That's the number of mail-in ballots that don't match up with the original names. All of a sudden, you plug in that math, and the number goes from Biden's 81 million back to about 75 million. All of a sudden, we're looking at a whole new ballgame. But because of the way audits are made, and because that would make so many Americans felons, no one wants that kind of consequence. Because if you get that and you're wrong, you've made someone a felon. Granted, the Democrats do this with the ATF all the time, so that's why the Republicans don't pull the trigger. So Vivek is right to criticize Trump on one hand. On the other hand, you look at the data, you start realizing something fishy went on. And I don't like getting into the conspiratorial side, and that's not who I am. Who I am is someone who understands why people say certain things to the camera. And Vivek is ultimately trying to do three things. One, he's trying to remind people that they're wrong. He does a great job of that. Two, start talking about issues that might be able to get some of these rich white liberals to start stroking their goatees and start wondering, am I wrong on this? Is it possible that I have been fed nothing but horse garbage for the past couple of years? Then, what he's trying to do isn't just trying to bolster himself. He's trying to bolster a general point and try to bring a whole lot of people together. This is very unusual when it comes to political mantra and political rhetoric. There aren't a lot of people that are good at bringing people together. And I'm going to say this, Trump's not good at that. He's good at bringing conservatives together, because conservatives haven't had a good fighter. I'll tell you something America has been missing. They've been missing a positive president, a truly positive president. Not the fake hope and change that Barack Obama brought, because no one on the right bought into that. I'm talking about the Morning in America speech. I'm talking about someone like Reagan, who on one hand would throw red meat to conservatives, and on the other hand espouse traditional American values, and then portray them as positive. Vivek actually has that ability. And so I'm not saying that he should be the next president. That's not what I'm going after here. I'm simply trying to say that I'm seeing unusual similarities between certain candidates here and there. And Vivek does something that I haven't seen in a long, long time. He points out that America is a good thing. He then gets people to reconsider their positions. And then he draws them in and says, it's all okay. We can keep talking about this. Thank you for being here. That's an unusually positive message. And I'm glad people are waking up to the fact that Vivek might be the real deal after all. So again, not an endorsement, just calling it like I see it. In this case, Cuomo threw him a nice little beach ball right down the middle. That ball's 400 feet into the stands now. If you don't agree, tell me how far you think Vivek hit it. Did he strike out? Did he get it right? Or is he just on base? Just let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on PolitiBrawl. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.